Well, what do we have here? It's another unboxing from 5-Door. You may notice over the course of this channel that I perhaps buy and sometimes sell entirely too many knives, but this was a pretty cool one. So first things first, unboxing knife, get out of my pocket, is Hinderer XM18 Recurve blade. You know, we're just sitting and talking amongst ourselves. Let me talk about this one. So, as some of you know, Hinderer released the Recurve blade of the XM18 a few weeks ago. I have a soft spot for recurves. I like the way they function. Nothing cuts better in my estimation, and I just enjoy these knives. So I've been waiting for a recurve for, I don't know, it feels like 4 years maybe. I don't know, it's been a few years. So the moment they came out, I said I have to have it. Got stonewashed because oddly, I didn't really have a stonewashed and I kind of like that look. I do like some G10. Some G10. I can't stand Hinderer textured G10, and I've been on the hunt for a flat or a smooth titanium scale for a while now. Haven't found one, but I'm starting to dig carbon fiber a lot more now. And this is a bit of foreshadowing to a future video that some of you probably know is coming that also involves carbon fiber. So picked up this scale from Sharp Dress Knives and the filler tab. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'm not an interior decorator, but I assume this really ties the whole knife together or something. I don't know. And I wanted this to be a road trip knife too, because the Recurve blade, you're talking a stout tip, but still cuts well. And actually, this is probably the sharpest Hinderer I've gotten from the ranch directly. So I did an upgrade I've not done before. The HBMS glass breaker. Will I ever need it? I don't know. Hopefully not, I guess, because that would imply that I'm trapped underwater. But in the event that you do, it's good to have it. So I've never gotten one of these for a Hinderer. I should do a Hinderer video at some point, because I've had just about all of them. Well, not the 3-inch version, because that's too small for my preferences, and not the 3¼ inch version, because I kind of don't think that should exist. It's a bit like the Strider JVA. It filled a niche nobody really asked for. Like with the Strider, you have the PT, which is muy poquito, for those of you who habla, which I don't, but enough to say stuff like that. All the way up to the 3½. What was I saying? Anyway. Oh, the SNG is just barely big enough to be a good knife, at least for me. So you have the PT and the SNG. Well, they put the JVA in the middle. It's like, who asked for that? I feel the same way with the XM18 between the 3-inch and the 3½inch. But I digress. So this is it. Love this thing. This actually might be my favorite XM18 at this point. So onward with the unboxing. Now this one, I hope is pretty cool. This is from DLT, just about everybody's favorite retailer. I've always had just stellar experiences with DLT. And it turns out they have a thing called the Insiders page. Am I letting the cat out of the bag? I don't know, it was new to me. Apparently it has something to do with a Facebook group of theirs. I've never Facebooked, I don't Facebook. I have kind of a Facebook burner account for Old Dominion knives exclusively. It's the only thing I will use it for. But I hate the existence of Facebook. I don't think it should exist. I tend to not like the people. Anyway, never Facebook, best policy. So anyway, they have an Insiders page, I guess. And I saw a link to it in a club that I'm in, went to it, and the knives being discussed in the club weren't particularly of interest to me, but I saw one that I've wanted, and I was a little aggravated that I missed when they did a limited run. So here goes. Can you feel the suspense building? I bet you can. So let's see. Paperwork, classic sticker. I actually like that, the matte black. I mean, I don't know what I'd put it on. Everywhere I have to put stickers is pretty much filled up. So, box out of here. It is a Spyderco. I always think I have all the Spydercos I need, because there's really just a couple that are a cut above. Oh, that's a great pun. They're a cut above the other models. But anyway, I'll do a separate Spyderco video at some point. But this one is the Spyderco, only has codes on it, but it's supposed to be the Tropen or the Tropen. So here we go. I'm not doing the whole paperwork thing. Oh, look at the sticker. I guess I just did that, but I'm not doing it again. That's my point. So here we are. I don't often buy Chinese knives, but I will occasionally, as long as it's part of Taichung, China. Anyway, kind of good joke there. So the Tropen, this was based on a design by Vogt, Argentinian knife designer. Oh, I love the blade. Interesting blade. It actually reminds me a bit of the Shiesty from Edgy Blade Works. One of my absolute favorite knives. This thing feels pretty good though. We have Contour G10. Everything Taichung makes turns out pretty good. What's the locking mechanism on this? Oh, it's a compression lock. Ugh. I don't really like compression locks. I forgot that that's what this is. That's odd. The flipper tab kind of gets in the way. It still works though. We have the Emerson Wave, which they seem to have shoehorned in here. Let's see if the opening hole works. I really don't like compression locks. I guess to slow roll it, you could use that. This knife wasn't overly popular, I don't think, and I keep pushing in there because I'm used to either liner locks or frame locks. I can see why it wasn't popular. Feels really good though. It's well done. G10, Contour G10. Smoothed out pretty well with a decent flipper. And I do remember that there was a bit of controversy about this one because some of the Nancys among us were convinced, oh, that does poke out a lot. I remember reading the criticisms of this and saying the edge pokes out and you could really hurt yourself with this knife. Let's see if we can pick it up. Yeah, I think you can see it. I can't totally see my camera, so if you can't, then I don't know. Yeah, that should do it. That's an interesting angle. I'm not really sure why my finger would ever hang out in there. I'm more annoyed by the flipper tab's interaction with the compression lock mechanism. Why isn't this a liner lock? Was it to make it thinner? Not really. It's not exactly the thinnest of knives. Man, I love that blade shape though. That's a great shape. Gets down pretty thin. I like the grind. This is nice. That's gonna drive me crazy because there's no alternative to it. Like at least with a frame lock, you can crab it or you can do it with your thumb, or same with a liner lock. Compression locks, you just have to be so dainty and get your little tiny baby finger in here to gently push the lock. I just don't like it. But I like the knife overall. I like the size and shape of it at least. And I do like some of the more unique Spydercos. So Spyderco does a thing that very few makers really do. And that's stuff that's different. They'll take some historical design or maybe an exotic international style that you may not see here, and they'll do their version of it. And I always enjoy that. I forget what the line was called. Probably Exotic, or maybe, I don't know. Probably get myself in trouble if I start guessing as to what they call foreign knives. But anyway, this is it. The Spyderco Tropen. Oh, that was the other thing that bothered me about this thing when it first came out, is the name. It's a stupid name, because I don't think there's any correlation between the name and the knife other than it sounds vaguely tropical, which Argentina, I don't believe, is overly tropical, so that seems weird. But it also bugs me because Tropen just means tropics in German. So I'm not fluent, but I used to be close to fluent at least, and it always just kind of bugged me because I did know that word, and I thought, why would they name it the German word for tropics and not like, I don't know, grazing pasture? How do you say that in German? Maybe that'd be a better name. If you know how to say grazing pasture in German, put it in the comments. And maybe we can rename this thing. So anyway, there's your unboxing. The Spyderco Tropen, however you want to say it. I also forgot the musical update on this one too. So let's talk music. Actually, before we talk music, what's the pen of the day? This is the Tactile Turn. It's the new one with their new clip and bolt mechanism. I have to tell you, I've had about 30 to 40 machined pens over the years, and this is probably my favorite clip of them all. At least for my use, the retention is just right. It just barely doesn't touch the body of the pen, which is good because the clip moves when you deploy it. I like the way Tactile machines, just their basic machining on this. It's little fine grooves. All of you people know that. So anyway, this one's Parker sized, as are most of my pens. I like the size, and I like the fact I can get refills that are blue-black, which is my favorite ink. So Tactile Turn, I genuinely don't remember what they call it, but you can identify it by the clip. So there's that. All right, musical update / interlude. Mastodon. Mastodon is a band I've listened to pretty regularly for the last 20 some odd years. It goes back to their early album Leviathan, and then into Blood Mountain. I think that was about 20 years ago when Blood Mountain came out. I saw them live in Houston, and it was a fantastic show. They put on a great show. They sounded great, interacted with the crowd really well. It was a blast. I like the guys in the band, and have really enjoyed their work ever since. The lead guitarist and vocalist Brent Hines had left the band and then tragically died last year due to a motorcycle accident, I believe in Atlanta. No word, or at least I don't recall if it was a University of Georgia player that hit him, but he passed away last year. But they're back with a new album. Comes out next month, August 28th, Marrow Deep. So if you haven't heard Mastodon, I would suggest you check out, maybe as an intro album, The Hunter. It's a little more accessible initially than what I consider their masterpiece, which is Crack the Sky. Crack the Sky is, what's the word? It's one of those thematic things about, I don't know, Norsemen and all of this. It basically tells a story. I like it because it is a fascinating album musically. It rocks. Great album. Really interesting. So if you're into music a lot, you'll find that album interesting. I expect you'll like it a lot. But if you do, then check out The Hunter. Once More Around the Sun, I believe is the name of another one I've listened to a lot. Pay special attention to Braun Daler. He's the drummer. He also does some vocals. One of the most, outside of musician circles or outside of drummer circles, one of the most underrated drummers of our time. Some drummers just kind of play by the recipe of the song. I could rant about Matt Sorum in that regard for Guns N' Roses. Braun's the other way around. He adds a lot to every song. He's a real artist in that. So enjoy the drumming. Hell, enjoy the whole band. R.I.P. Brent Hines. Glad to see Mastodon back with a new record in August. So there, musical update, pen update, knives. You got the whole package here today. So thanks for watching. Enjoy. And now we wait to give you plenty of time to like, comment, and subscribe. I've told I have to assume those are the magic words for YouTube because everybody says it. So now I've said it.